Have you ever really been hungry? More often than not, probably most of us have said at probably several points in our lives, I am so hungry. I am starving. And maybe some of us actually have been in that situation. Honestly, physically hungry, starving for food, for nourishment. But for most of us, thankfully, while we've used the phrase, we've never been really, truly hungry. That's not an unhelpful distinction for us to consider our using a phrase to assess our hunger, when in reality, hunger is all too real. A dramatic and destructive force in the lives of far too many fellow human beings. The actual number of hungry men, women, and children far exceeds the 5,000 plus mentioned in the gospel. Estimates put the number of chronically hungry people at about 650 million, about 8% of the population. Numbers like that run the very real risk, kind of dehumanizing the very people being counted. Real people, plight, pain, sinks within a bureaucratic ocean of statistics and definitions. The disciples even seem to kind of fall into that trap, huh? There are so many people. It's all so overwhelming. They quickly make judgments, a plan. People are hungry. It's late. They're from everywhere. Let's send them home. They share all of this with Jesus, and as is almost always the case, right, Jesus has a different idea. First of all, notice, he makes them accountable for the plight of the crowd. They find the meager offering of loaves and fish. Yes, Jesus does the blessing, but then they do the distributing and the gathering of what remains. So sure, Jesus satisfies a hunger, but was it as simple as giving people something to eat, enough to sustain them until they got home? Remember, before all of that, Jesus looks at this vast crowd, and it says in the text that he is moved with pity. In the original Greek of the gospel, the word is splagnizomai. I've maybe used that word with you before. This wonderful word that conveys a deep, intense, guttural emotion, a compassion. A word and an emotion evoked only 8 times on the part of Jesus in the gospel. This awareness of splagnizomai on the part of Jesus, it comes early in the day, long before anyone is worried about something to eat. Jesus sees a need, a yearning, a hunger among these people that only his word, his mercy, his justice, his healing, a hunger only he can satisfy. What if Jesus were to look upon the vast assembly of our contemporary human experience? I have to think that he would definitely be moved with pity, splagnizomai. Yes, at the stark reality of millions enduring frightening, debilitating physical hunger. But he would see so many other hungers too. People who hunger for acceptance and dignity, for resolution and reconciliation, who hunger for relief from their burdens of physical and mental illness, easier access to medical care, to possibly alleviate those burdens, who hunger for honesty, civility, integrity. Thinking this past week about the hunger of these 5,000 or so and the hungers of our time, I was struck by two vast crowds of people enduring their own specific, very real hungers. I think of the 350,000 people from Haiti who endure a constant fear in these days of being deported from the security of our country into the horrific chaos and violence of their own, who hunger for safety and stability. I think of the people in far too many places ravaged by war, the trauma of war, of lives and property, of people decimated, futures destroyed. Forget about the politics of all of this. Consider what a young Iranian woman said in a text message this past week to an American reporter. This Iranian woman wrote, "I don't have any dreams anymore. I don't have any hope. I have nothing. Take care of yourself and enjoy your life. Please don't text me again." It's clear, huh? What this woman hungers for, a desperate hunger for hope. Now, those are just two rather pronounced, maybe grossly unsettling instances of hunger. Two among far too many situations that become as dizzying as that number I identified at the start. A statistic I listed after asking if we've ever been hungry, which is probably the wrong question in relation to this remarkable moment in the ministry of Jesus. Here's maybe the real question, the right question. Have you ever seen, have you noticed another person's hunger? Seen it not as a statistic, not as a political talking point, not as somebody else's problem, but as Jesus sees it. Remember, that's where this gospel story begins. Before the bread and the fish, before the miracle, before anyone says they're hungry, before any of that, Jesus sees the people. And from his compassion, their hungers are fed. Is it possible that from the hungers we see, we may attempt to satisfy the hungers of those we see?